Have any idea what no contact is about? Have you been no contacted? Well, in this video, you're going to learn what this no contact rule is. It will help you. I've done the research, so you'll have the information. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Marie Morin. I'm a therapist and a wellness coach. So I hit Google Scholar, I did a lot of research, and I came up with some interesting articles that are going to be on this video and in the blog. But what you need to know is that no contact started out as a strategy for abuse situations in relationships with men and women. That was the first of the no contact rule. It's a strategy to protect oneself from abusive or toxic relationships. And there's different forms of communication involving ceasing in person, digital, and third party. So the historical context and the origins of the no contact rule and how did it evolve into family estrangement? And why do people use the no contact rule? Well, let's talk about it. So the details of these answers I don't have. However, what I did find out about is how it originated and the details of when it transferred over to family estrangement is kind of iffy. That I didn't really get much on that, but let's piece this together. What I'm hearing from most adult children and what a lot of really good research is saying from the data is that adult children estrange because of toxic relationships and abuse. So it stands to reason that if there's been an abusive situation and toxicity, what you do is when you're around somebody that's toxic is you choose to get away from them. Now, it goes to this no contact, obviously, because all other attempts have failed, meaning the person that is saying, hold on, no more contact with you, has tried before, and they felt like the only other resort was to now no contact. What's important to note is that toxic behaviors for the person who is experiencing them is emotionally and psychologically traumatic for them. And there's a toll of enduring abusive behaviors. Now, some of you are saying to me, hold on a minute, there was no abuse. That's not why my kid has no contacted me. All right, let's still watch the video because we're going to learn a lot. You'll gain some insight. Why? Because if you have been told, please don't contact me, you're going to want to know what to do and what's going to work for you. So hang on to the end. In terms of the adult child and the need for no contact, going back into how did this all start, right? So this idea of you're harming me, I need to get away from you, I need personal autonomy, and I'm going to choose self-preservation rather than staying in a relationship where there's abuse, toxic behavior. In fact, that is a legal strategy that's used. And when I did do a lot of this research, what I came up with, no contact back in pre-90s, it was all about the legal no contact, which is still, in fact, when there is domestic abuse and domestic violence issues, the no contact ruling exists. So as we've been talking about, no contact involves this cutting off of one person between no messaging, no emails, no social media interaction, no talking, no nothing, all right? And it's usually a last resort to rectify the relationship that has failed. Now, the idea of estranging oneself from family or loved ones isn't new. Historically, family estrangement has been observed in various cultures and societies for centuries. And today we see that it's become more defined as a strategy for dealing with toxic relationships where there are situations of no contact that are clearly stated, or no contact that is happening where they're not getting back to you, but they haven't said, hey, I don't want any contact, okay? Which is a very interesting place to find a parent, because then they don't know, oh, this isn't clear. Maybe I can still contact them. Maybe I can cross this boundary. Individuals can opt for no contact for a number of different reasons. A significant one is to protect their mental and emotional well-being for ongoing abuse, manipulation, toxic behavior, control. A critical aspect influencing the decision for no contact is something known as complex post-traumatic stress disorder, or CPTSD. And unlike post-traumatic stress disorder that results from one traumatic event or maybe multiple traumatic events, complex PTSD arises from multiple events or prolonged exposure to a lot of uncertainty and a lot of inconsistencies. And this could happen in childhood, for example, when things are just totally up in the air all the time, where the child does not feel safe regularly, where things weren't consistent, and there could have been maybe perhaps, and there could be a lot of different scenarios of this. How does this impact the no contact rule? Well, let's unravel this. So suppose this person who has complex PTSD, they feel like, okay, there was just too many ups and downs in my life. I never knew whether I was coming or going, or life was just kind of crazy behind closed doors. And there wasn't one traumatic event. There was just like, it was a lifestyle of trauma, okay? And this person has this feeling, all right? This is what's going on for them. They're diagnosed with this. And now, fast forward in their everyday life, they're in relationship with these people, and this person consistently does things, typically controlling, could be toxic, could be abusive, manipulative. It could be all of those things. And this person then says, okay, that's it. I'm going to try. I'm going to do something. I'm going to make attempts to see if my parent will hear me. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to try and find out if we could make amends or we could figure something out. I want to tell you how I felt when I was a kid. The kid goes to the parent and the parent's like, what? What are you talking about? That never happened. And this invalidation, now this is just one scenario, okay? This may not have happened to you. This may not apply to you. I'm just talking about one type of scenario, typical to what I hear, okay? And the adult child tries to talk to the parent. The parent is like, that never happened. You're just too sensitive. This is not true. You are redoing our whole life. This is not what happened. You were well cared for. In fact, I did X, Y, Z. And the kid is like, wait a minute, what did I live in an alternate reality? And then there's more, let's call it what it is, gaslighting. It didn't happen to you. You're crazy. You're too sensitive. So this is what's going on for the adult child. That could potentially be going on for the parent. Now, fast forward some more. Adult child tries again. The parent doesn't listen. What's going on here? Well, what's going on here is that there's this repeated attempt to get things to try, okay, to get things better. And the adult child is making an attempt. Parent isn't changing. In fact, the adult child feels like they're just not being heard, valued, supported, and behaviors that are typical to what happened when they were younger, and these controlling, maybe toxic behaviors, okay? And they say, all right, you know what? I've tried everything I could. I'm just going to stop. Now, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes they just go straight into no contact. However, that's just one scenario. Remember, key is CPTSD is prolonged exposure to trauma in interpersonal context. Now, individuals with CPTSD may definitely, they grew up in dysfunctional homes, enduring repeated traumas inflicted by family members. And this background can make maintaining the healthy relationships challenging and can lead to that decision, as we discussed, to no contact as a means of self-protection, self-preservation. So when do people choose to go no contact, right? So sometimes it's after trying and trying and trying, and it's in response to boundary violations, okay? Let's talk about this. So we hear a lot about boundaries. There's nothing wrong with boundaries. Boundaries are good. Some people have very porous boundaries. Anything goes. And then they end up getting either resentful or upset, and that could happen outside of your family life, okay? Maybe there's people pleasing going on. There could be all sorts of things, but a boundary is not necessarily bad. So adult children may say, hey, wait a second, things aren't looking right to me. They go to their parent, they try and talk to them, and they say, all right, this is my boundary. And the parent is like, no way. I'm not doing that. I'm going to tell you how I feel when I feel it. And I know this happens because I talk to people, or the adult child says, listen, I really can't handle your emotional stuff. Because sometimes the parent has emotional trauma that they haven't dealt with, and then they are talking to their kid and they're telling their kid about it. And the adult child begins to feel responsible, or like, oh, shoot, I need to help my parent. And it's just too much. And then the kid says, look, we can't talk about this anymore. And the parent's like, what are you talking about? We've always talked about this. We've always been so close. We've been like best friends. And the kid is like, yeah, I know, but that's part of it. Like, I'm just like way too burdened over this. This is too much for me. This is one scenario. Maybe it didn't happen to you. I'm just saying that this may be something. And by the way, if anybody is sitting here right now and they're saying, oh, it sounds like you're blaming parents. No, I am not blaming parents. I'm blaming dynamics. I am saying that this is what goes on, and I'm helping you to remain informed. Why? Because the more we know, the better we can gain insight into maybe what might have happened. Could your situation be outside of any of what I'm discussing right now? Could it be an anomaly to this? Absolutely. Okay. However, there are cases where this is happening. So as I said, okay, there could be these toxic behaviors, and the person who goes no contact says, oh, I can't deal with this anymore. All right. So we talk about narcissists and escaping the abuse from a narcissist. Now, are there narcissists out there? You betcha. Are there narcissists that harm adult children? Oh, yes. Are there narcissists, adult children that harm parents? Definitely. But what about this no contact rule, and does it work? So research and personal experiences suggest that it can be highly effective in breaking harmful patterns and reclaiming one's emotional stability. What does that mean? So let's say that things have been hectic, all right? New scenario. Let's say that the relationship with a parent, adult, child has been like really stressed, very high levels of communication, arguing on both sides. Everybody's matching the other person's negative energy and behaviors, okay? And now the adult child is like, all right, wait a second, this has to stop. This is no good. And they go no contact. Maybe they give a clear no contact and they say, look, I'm going no contact. In that time period, when that adult child has this time, or sometimes let's talk about it, parents go no contact because there's abuse on the other side, okay? But in that time where this person goes no contact, guess what? They get a break. They're not hearing. They're not partaking. They're not getting this dose of harm that's happened to them. As I said in the beginning, you're here to learn because there's going to be insights for you. All right. And not everything is going to fit. But think about it. For the person that's feeling hurt and harmed, and this is where our empathy muscle gets to grow, they get a chance to get a break because obviously they went no contact because something was upsetting to them. Something happened that bothered them. The benefit include giving oneself the space to heal, reassessing their boundaries, and ultimately, hopefully breaking free from cycles of abuse or manipulation. Of course, like any major decision, going no contact has its pros and cons. And on the positive side, for that person who's been in this abusive, toxic relationship, they get peace of mind, they reduce stress, and they foster personal growth. But on the other side, it can lead to feelings of loneliness, guilt, or societal judgment. It's a decision that requires careful consideration and often involves navigating a lot of complex emotions. But speaking of societal judgment, individuals who choose to go no contact, okay, they often face intense criticism and misunderstanding from others who can't get it, the severity of their situation. Again, I want to make it clear, I am not blaming anybody. I'm simply here to inform that there are legitimate times and there are places where individuals will benefit from going no contact. Does it hurt the other party? Yes, it does. The person who's gone no contact often is extremely hurt and needs time away. It's important to recognize that such decisions are deeply personal and should be respected as part of their journey toward healing. Lastly, if this is you, if you've gone no contact, you understand it's not a quick fix. It's a profound emotional process that involves going through the grief process, the self-doubt, and the need for ongoing support, because you do lose a lot. And it's a good idea to allow yourself time to grieve. And if you are on this side of the no contact place, you need to be taking care of yourself. We know that individuals that are isolated from family connection are hurting. They're hurting because they don't have family. And usually when you're cut off from one, you're cut off from everyone. So I hear a lot from adult children who have had to do this no contact rule. Some of you write me, you're really angry with me because I want to support parents, and I do want to support parents. And if you're a parent here and your adult child has gone no contact with you, here's my suggestion to you. 1, respect their boundary for now. I know that there are adult children who go no contact and then in time, and the research states that as individuals age, they soften. Does every adult child soften? No, they don't. However, we do know that some do. I get the calls. They call me. They tell me they're thinking about their parent. They're Gen Xers, and they're saying, you know what? My parent has been pretty much toxic their whole life. I've been no contact for 7 years, maybe longer, some of them. And, I'm concerned. They might pass soon, and I don't want to remain no contact. And they want to go back. They want to test the waters. And that's why I teach all the skills that I do, learning how to communicate. Why? Because this can happen for you too. Spending a lot of time mulling over how angry you are with other people that are very angry, talking about how terrible these no contact kids are. And maybe for a moment it'll help you. Maybe you'll feel good to be around other people that are also in that. But what really will help you is to get the support to move forward. What does that mean? Take care of yourself, learn your communication skills, learn how to keep regulated in case your kid comes back and you want to get all this angst out. You better not do it, because then you're going to just prove to them that, hey, the no contact was the best thing I could do. But what if, as parents, we say, all right, you know what? I get it. I understand. I was a little this, I was a little that. Not everybody is, okay? So don't write me and get mad at me right now. But some of you could use some softening yourselves, right? So learn these skills. Look, if this video has helped you, please send me a comment. Tell me what you thought. But most of all, do your best to keep moving forward. One foot in front of the other. You can do this. You've got this. I'll see you in the next video. Hit the like, subscribe, and ring the bell.